going? It is I. So, we're here to talk about Parasite. Now, on Sunday was the Oscars. Because, mind you, I've never heard of this movie. I don't think I have. Yeah, I've never heard of this movie until the Oscars came on, which was Sunday. And, okay, just checking something. Which was on Sunday. And, I'm losing my train of thought. So, anyway, I never heard of this movie. And until the Oscars on Sunday, where I think they won for Best Director. Yeah. They won for Best Director. And then they won for Best Movie? I think. Best Ensemble Cast. One of those. But they won, right? Which, this movie is based in South Korea. So this was their first time being nominated, in this category. I think in this category, but I think being nominated, period. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. Hey, Kirby. But they were nominated. This is their first time being nominated. And then for them to actually win is history, right? And, we all love, the first ever to do, history stories. We all love that. So, of course, I'm like, well, let me, check out the movie. Let me check it out. Let me see what it's about. Now, originally, when you think of, like, Parasite, right, you think, okay, is this movie going to be about, like, an alien invasion, perhaps, or, like, some kind of, ringworm getting into some people's brains or whatever and just fucking shit up, basically. Well, in a way, after watching it, and mind you, like, I just finished watching it, like, an hour ago, so this is, like, really fresh on my brain. So, and also spoiler alert. So there's gonna be spoilers. If you got issue with spoilers, go ahead, leave now. Otherwise, because I'm here to talk about the movie, right? So in a way, this movie was sort of like an invasion, in a way, but not like no alien invasion or no government secrecy or. So basically, we have two families, right? We have one family, which are just the main characters. We got one family that's poor, right? They living in the slums, like the ghetto of Korea, basically. Like, they are living terrible. And then you have a rich family, right? And so basically the whole gist of the movie is the poor family finds a way or weasels their way into the lives of the rich family, right? So it starts off with so like I said, we got the poor family, the Korean projects. Yeah, basically the Korean projects. So pause. If you've seen the movie, did anybody peep the bathroom they had? Did y'all see how they had the toilet? Like, is that how toilets are in Korea? Well, in South Korea? Because I was like, that thing was like hugged up against the wall. Like, you have to, like, there's the bathroom. Like, the bathroom is small, right? But it's like you have the bathroom, there's a sink, and then they have like this extra wall where the toilet sits up on, and they had to like walk up some steps and then sit down and use the bathroom. I'm like, what kind of bathroom? I have never seen something like that. Never. But that's paying attention to details and all. So we have the Kim family. Now, let's see, can I remember the names? Probably not. So we're going to say the son, right? So the son, he gets his opportunity to, I guess, be a tutor for a rich family, right? So he goes there, and, he has, the girl, she's like a teenager, he's tutoring her. And so the mother of the rich family, she was like, she's that type of woman that was like, the bathroom. Right? So, and I wish I had a picture of it, because I'm like, what kind of bathroom is this? I have never seen a bathroom like that. But the way the mom in the rich family, the way she was very timid, I guess. I would say timid. She just wants things to be, right. She's all about taking care of her family, but at the same time, she's in that high status, so so you have her, so literally anything could go wrong. Like, she would just be like all about trying to fix it. Like, nothing, she didn't want anything to go wrong. Everything has to be perfect, right? Hold on, let me put my phone down. Lord. So basically, so the son is hired to be the tutor to the daughter, right? From the rich family. He's the tutor, right? And then he looks at this painting, and the mother was like, oh yeah, my son did that, and da-da-da, and he, he's just this, wild child, and we try to get him to calm down, but he's just all over the place. And then that's when he gets this idea of, because the dad was always, from the poor family, the dad was always about making a plan or whatever. So the son gets this bright idea to, what, if I'm gonna be in here, then I'm gonna bring my whole family up in here. So what he did, he recommended, he said, well, I have my cousin, he has this, sister, she's all about, art therapy or whatever, so maybe she can come in and help. And that's when he brings his sister in, right? So then the sister, the mom likes the sister. She's like, cool, she's hired. Then before you know it, they set they had the driver of the family set him up so they can get him out the way. Then that way the dad can become the driver. So basically, the whole movie as a whole is just putting your family on. This is really all they did, was just putting their family on. Because then they had the housekeeper there. She was allergic to peaches, and they ended up giving her like some allergic reaction, whatever. And then that's when, they fired the housekeeper, and then the mom becomes the housekeeper, right? So as the movie is going, like, it was in the beginning, like, there's some funny moments in the movie, but then it's like at some point you just, like, it just really shows you that from the outside, like, whether you're poor or whether you're like middle class, like, because I feel like as a society as a whole, like, we all want to have a good lifestyle. We all want that. And it's like, from the outside looking in, like, we all want to have really nice house, drive really nice cars, have a good job, making buku money. And then it's like you sit back in reality and it's like, I don't have that. Like, there are times where, I want to go to this place without no issues with money, have no problems with money, and just want to go to this place for a vacation or whatever, or just do anything. And then you just sit back and it's like, and I feel like this movie does a great job in doing that, because at one point the rich family ends up going on a camping trip, right? So that means the poor family, they're staying at the rich family's house, right? And they're sitting there, they eating, and they, sleeping on the furniture and drinking whiskey and just, sitting outside, just really taking advantage of the house and the situation and all. And then, which was, we get a scene where in this same scene, where the housekeeper shows up, and she's like, oh, they fired me so fast, I left something in the basement, I wasn't able to get it, right? So the mother, she's like, who's the current housekeeper, she's like, okay, I can't tell you no. So the former housekeeper, she comes in, she goes in the basement. Who's in the basement? No, she goes to the basement, and then she's trying to, like, push this bookcase or whatever out the way, and there's a secret door, and she goes down into the basement. Who's in there? Her husband. I'm like, why do you And she was like, we don't have anything, and he's from North Korea, and Kim Jong-un and all that, all this other stuff, and we got debt and everything, so I just hide him here. And they borrow money from like loan sharks. So basically she's been hiding him in this basement for 4 whole years. And I'm like, oh my god. So so she's like, please don't call the cops. And then the mom, she had the audacity to be like, yeah, I'm gonna have to call the cops. Like, this is wrong. You're not supposed to do this. Da, 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 da. Meanwhile, everybody else is over there listening, and then they fall out. And so the former housekeeper's like, oh, so you over here lying? It was funny. It was really funny because they were over there fighting because the housekeeper, she was smart enough to take video. Like, do y'all see it? And she was threatening to like send it to the family, the rich family, sent it to them, and then she eventually a little fight breaks out. They never send the video, but excuse me, they never send the video though. But they they were fighting. Then all of a sudden the rich family was like, because it was raining a lot, it was like, look, it was a disaster, we're just gonna come home in like 8 minutes. So they're like, trying to get everything cleaned up. The housekeeper, she tries to run back up the stairs, and the mom like kicks her back down the steps. She just kicked her back down the steps. But either way, go watch the movie. It's funny. You'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, it wasn't in the grand scheme of things like, oh, it's not funny. She felt bad. She kicked her. She damn near broke her neck trying to get back downstairs. But it was funny to me. So, oh well, whatever. Ooh, that hurt. So, but yeah. So when what I mean by when you just sit back and reflect, there was one scene when the dad, he was the driver, and the husband of the rich family, he sitting in the back seat, and they're just talking or whatever, and the husband felt like, let's have an honest moment, and he was just like, I just hate how poor people, and I just hate how they smell. Like, it just smells so bad. Like, he really hates how they, like, he's just talking about how he hates it. And I'm like, whoa. And then the dad, he's sitting there driving, listening. He's just like, like, bro, And then the scene when the family came back from their camping trip, the poor family, they were still in the house, right? Like, the husband and wife, they laying on the couch because the son wanted to, despite it raining outside, he wanted to go pitch a tent and sleep out in the tent, right? And so so the poor family, they're just waiting for an opportune moment to get out that house. So they're like underneath the couch while the husband and wife, they're like on top of the couch, right? And they about to have a little sexy moment. I'm like, oh no. But then the husband, he starts talking about as he's like laying there with his wife, he starts talking about the driver, right, which is the dad. He's under there listening, and he's like, he just has this smell, like, it's so bad, like, just this odor on him. And he's like, I just don't know what it is, but it's just so bad. Like, he just stinks up the car, just really talking bad about him. And he's like, it just smells like, the sewers and like where poor people are. Like, he really talking bad about this guy. And it's like, in that moment, it's like, you're sitting here, you're trying to weasel your way to get at least a glimpse into these people's lives and what it feels like to live their lives, and just sitting there listening to how this guy is talking about you, you just reminded of, this is, where you are in life. Like, this is where you are, and, what do you do in that moment? And I felt sad for him, because I feel like, again, we all have that moment where it's like, you want to be, like, in your mind, where you want to be in life. And it takes work. It really does. Because the shortcut there, really, if you take a shortcut there, then it's going to be short-lived. Like, it's really the truth of it. And so, I feel like, only 11:16. Yo, I am tired. But But yeah, the dad was just laying there listening to it. Like at one point, he even smelled his shirt. Just no way. Yeah, I think I got, yeah. But yeah, he even smelled his shirt. He was like, oh, wow. Like, to hear that, it just reminds you of, yeah, we're sitting here creating this whole scheme so we can get a glimpse of these people's lives. But at the end of the day, you still poor. Okay, you still got to go home at the end of the day. Like, it's nice to, play around these people's house, but you still got to go home, right? At the end of the day, you still got to go home. And then, at one point when they were able to finally get out, they legit had to run barefooted, okay, all the way back to the projects of Korea, right? So they ran all the way back. Once they get there, because it's been raining so much, people were, everybody's just going crazy. They crying. They trying to dump water out of their house, because it's so much rain, and they literally live like in a bowl area, so of course it's going to flood. And it's flooding, and then by the time they reach their house, the house is completely flooded. Toilet, poop, and shit is flying everywhere. I mean, it's just absolutely terrible. So basically, all they're doing now is just, collecting things that are valuable to them. So then, when they finally go back to the what's the name? They end up going to a shelter, and as they end up going to a shelter. And then they get a phone call from the rich family saying, oh, well, the son, they're going to have a birthday party or whatever. We want you to be there, as their aliases, right? So when they get there, everything was fine and all. But then we get this scene where the husband of the housekeeper that was staying in the basement, he, what happened? Oh, what's the name? The son. He went down there to check on them, because the dad said, well, I tied them up. So he just went down there just to check on them. And the guy that was stuck in the basement, we don't call him that, the guy stuck in the basement, he ends up tying like some kind of rope around the guy's neck, the son's neck, trying to tie him up. But the son was able to get up and get out. But then the rope got caught on something, which knocks him down. And then, mind you, the son had been carrying this rock throughout the whole movie, which I can't remember exactly what it represented, but it represented something. But anyway, he had this big rock. And so the guy in the basement picks up the rock and smashes it over his head. I'm like, ooh. And then he picks it up, smashes over his head again. Now this time, dude is outside the basement. He grabs a knife. They're having a little birthday party, so you can imagine. You're just having a relaxing birthday party in broad daylight, and then all of a sudden this dude, he got blood all over his face, and he got a knife. You know who this guy is. And everybody's like, what the hell? So the guy in the basement runs over to the sister, stabs her, and then after he stabs her, when the little boy, he saw the guy and passes out. So they run over there. They grab the son. Then the dad, he jumps out, runs over to his daughter, who's bleeding out, trying to stop the blood and everything. And then the husband, not the guy in the basement, the husband, he was just like, get the car. I need you to drive us to the hospital. Can't get to, we can't get an ambulance. I need you. So in that moment, it was like, oh wow, like you were more concerned about your son who passed out, okay, than the people who are actually hurt. Like, you got this whole girl sitting here bleeding out, and you don't care. I was like, wow. And then the mother from the poor family, she gets up, she runs over and stabs the guy with what's the little stick from the shish kebab thing? He stabs him with that, just to stop him from stabbing people and stuff. And then the dad, he throws the keys to, instead of driving, he's like, look, here's the keys. So he throws the keys over to the husband, and as the mom stabs the guy, he falls down on top of the keys, right? Like he falls on the keys. So then the husband, he runs over and as he like lifts him up, he like holds his nose because of the smell of this guy, because he's been in that basement for 4 years, so he stinks, right? And so he grabs the keys and gets ready to run. So then the dad sees this and he's like, oh, basically thinking, oh, you little prick. And he runs over, grabs the knife, and stabs the husband, right? Now at first, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay. But then I understood, like, why. Because it's like, people can help where they live, but they also can't help. Like, we are in control. I feel like we're in control of our lives, but in a way we're not in control. Like, we're in control of what we do, but I think what we're not in control is the outcome, because we can do everything we can by the book, but the story is not going to always be the same. Like, everybody's story is different, and you can't sit here and be sitting on your high horse thinking that, oh, I'm this pristine man and I got this and I got that, I got the wife, got the kids, got the house, the car, the job, and everything, and everybody else that's not me is just beneath me. And it's like, for you to sit here holding your nose because it smells that, like, and then to admit that I just can't stand how, you know, the smell of poor people. Like, really? Really, just poor people? Okay, because not every poor person smells bad, you know. Not everyone. Just like not every rich person smells good, right? Okay? Like, come on now. Like, especially, see, and I feel like that's another thing when it comes to class. You can sit here and you can have all the things you want in life, but when you have that attitude of, I have everything I want in life and everybody else, like, that right there, like, if you notice a lot of people, like, if you are that kind of person, those people usually, their face is like bitter. Their face is very bitter. Their mouth is turned upside down, and they're just you don't even want to be around them. Like, they're that bad. Men and women of all race, colors, they all have that look to them. And it's like, versus somebody who can't even rub two nickels together. It's just as happy as can be. Because it's like, you know what? Yeah, my life is shit, but, I mean, what else can I do? Like, I gotta smile sometimes, right? And it's like, if that's what, like, you have to, I guess, remain humble. Because at the end of the day, nothing in life is guaranteed. So, you know, be grateful for what you have. Like, don't apologize for the things that you have, because especially when you've earned them. Like, if you earned and you deserve them, fine, but don't sit here and act like, oh, I am just this top tier person and I get to do whatever I want, and I just look down and just treat anybody in kind of way because of who I am. It's like, no, because they get you nowhere. They get you nobody, really, because nobody's going to want to be around you. Nobody's not going to like you, and what's going to happen? You're going to be lonely. You're not going to have nobody. You're going to die alone. You know? It's like, what's the point? What's the point of reaching the top of the mountain and you got nobody with you? You know? So, yeah. And then, I mean, technically, I kind of told most of the movie, but really, I want you guys to go check out this movie. Go check it out. It is, like I said, this movie is based in Korea. So, of course, you know, they're going to be speaking, Korean? They're going to speak in Korean, but they will have, like, English subtitles, which is fine. If you can read, you know, that's going to be completely fine, you know. Like, I feel like now I am actually comfortable, you know, with watching, you know, a movie that is speaking, I guess they would say, like, international movies that are speaking in different languages, and then they have, like, English subtitles, because that way, for me, it's like, okay, because I'm pretty sure when it comes to us, you know, they're like, oh, well, you know, you got English, they're speaking English, but, you know, they probably have whatever language, you know, subtitles, so, you know, I feel like that's just being I don't know, inclusive, I guess. I don't know. But overall, that is my review for Parasite. Y'all are getting these these doggone what's the name? Movie reviews back to back to back to back, okay? Okay, hey, all day, hey, I say hey. Anyway. If I were to rate this movie, I would give it a smooth 10, because absolutely wonderful film. Like, it was a movie where it was, fun, but then it also made you think. And I like movies like that where, it's fun. You can easily follow along. Like, it's not a hard movie at all, unless you make it hard. But yeah, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. I'll see y'all in the next one. Yeah, I think I'm y'all. It's like the fourth movie review. Like, god dang, I must love y'all or something. Anyway, bye.